Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
You're fucking wrong!
Wow. I got a text last night from someone that likes to interact with the show, and they said, Paul, you content creators continue to get more and more action. Wow, that must be a great life over there. I was celebrating my fiance's birthday last night at a restaurant when my phone goes, ba-ding, 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 ba-ding. And I'm like, what the hell? And I take a look, and there was a lot of messages, but the number one message was from someone that likes to interact with the show. I'll leave them nameless. And he says, hey, Haason Reddick and his agency broke up. I'm like, zoinks? Okay. I started to look into it in the middle of steak. I was getting a bite of strip steak. I'm like, okay, let me see what the hell's going on here. So let's give you all the latest in case you missed it late last night. Haason Reddick and his agency are kaput. No more. It's over. We have an article in the YouTube description that you guys can click and read along. But he has broken up with his agency, and let me make sure the wording on that is pretty clear. His agency is the one that broke up with him. CAA, aka Tory Dandy, has parted ways with New York Jets holdout pass rusher Haason Reddick. That all started from an Adam Schefter tweet last night. Our boy Nick Ferria, reporter of the Jets for Athlon Sports, added this, quote, I think there's a legitimate chance now that Haason Reddick doesn't play another down of football again. He doesn't have an agency, has no leverage left. The Jets own his rights, and Reddick's camp doesn't seem to understand or want to how any of this actually works. Nick Ferry is saying that Haason Reddick's NFL career might just be over. Now, you may say to yourself, because let's try to answer everything that we can. Let's try to answer everything that we can. What randomly happened on October 10th? What the hootenanny? What the hell's going on here? Well, according to Mike Garafolo, NFL Network Insider, and again, all of these quotes are inside my story in the YouTube description down below. According to NFL Network Insider, Mike Garafolo, the reason for the point of break yesterday was this, quote, his agency had been trying to broker a deal. Reddick has been dug in. The philosophical differences has now led to a parting of ways. In other words, his agency, Tory Dandy, was talking to the Jets. Let's get this guy in. Let's figure it out. Broker a deal is what he's talking about. And Reddick apparently did not want a deal brokered. What is going on, Haason Reddick? This is literally the dumbest holdout of all time, and it might cost this man his career. What are you doing, man? Not even for the Jets. Obviously, I'm a Jets content creator. I'm wearing a Jets polo right now, which, by the way, brand new. Feels very nice. Do you like it? I like it, the green and white. Let me get the other button. It always gets lost under the beard, but I like the green and white. It looks very, very flattering. Very flattering on camera. I like it. Anywho, despite my beautiful attire, the point is that Haason Reddick is, killing his NFL career. Here's an update. You guys love this. I wish I had a sounder for this. But Haason Reddick lost money update, if I may. I've got it right here in my notes. It's also my story. So far, let's also set this up real quick. Haason Reddick was scheduled. I use the word scheduled. That's the key word to pay attention to. Was supposed to receive $14.25 million in non-guaranteed salary. Of course, if he would have showed up week one, that would have been guaranteed, but that's neither here nor there. He was scheduled to make $14.25 million. We are 5 weeks through the season. We're heading into week 6. Technically, week 6 started yesterday on Thursday Night Football. But he himself, Haason Reddick's only 5 weeks into the season. He has been fined $8 million. $8 million. Good Lord. And he's lost $4.2 million in base salary. Beep, boop, bop. Do the math, people. He has lost $12.2 million just during his tenure with the Jets. So you go, okay, well, let's carry the one here. So on one side, he's lost $12.2 million, and he was scheduled to make $14.25 million. By the end of the season, he's going to owe the Jets money and the NFL money. What the Haason? What are we doing, man? Your agency was like, okay, enough's enough. Let's get you in here. And the philosophical difference from the Reddick campus, I'm good. What do you mean you're good? What are you holding out for? And this confirms, by the way, our guy Aaron Rodgers. Do you remember that? You remember old Aaron Rodgers? He had that conversation on the Pat McAfee show. What did he know? Do you remember what I'm talking about? Let's go. Let's hop in the old time machine if we can and see if we can play this clip because, of course, old Aaron Rodgers was asked about. Well, this is where it all started. This is back on September 24th. Okay, I'm going to throw it up here on the screen. September 24th. And shout out to Harvey. I saw you say it earlier, and we're going to get to it. Aaron Rodgers back on September 24th. That's several weeks ago. Joined the Pat McAfee show. And the question was this. I'll try to provide as much context as possible before we play this clip for you. The context was this. Ben Standig, who works for The Athletic, did an article where he got all these opinions from anonymous agents. Agents, we don't know who they are. They were anonymous so they could speak freely. And one of the agents said that the Jets are in complete disarray over there. Look at how they've handled Aaron Rodgers. He's one player. Has one player had more power than him? He skipped minicamp, unable to convert him to a team player. The vibe in the building is terrible. That was the article from The Athletic and Ben Standig with the anonymous agents. And Aaron Rodgers was asked about that during his appearance on the Pat McAfee show. And you'll notice that he took a shot at a certain guy and made an interesting comment that made a lot of us go, what did he just say? And now hearing the news last night, you go, oh. Let's try to see what old Aaron Rodgers said on the Pat McAfee show. Play the footage.
Does everybody handle it?
I would say the culture is about the opposite of what that article said.
No.
I didn't read the article, but just reading that headline there, it sounds like it was written by Haason Reddick's agent in a way that.
And then we'll let that buffer for a second because we're about to get to the juicy part. He suggests that the criticisms of the Jets organization came from Haason Reddick's agent, and thus that ultimately, would be a reason why the Jets should kowtow to Haason Reddick and thus bring him in. Rodgers perhaps speculating there. Let's see what else the clip has to say.
Former agent, I guess, possibly, in a way to try and disparage.
Whoa. What did he just say? Haason Reddick's, huh? Who now?
In a way to try and disparage. But former agent, I guess, possibly.
Former agent, possibly. Did Rodgers? Did what the? Oh, I see. So it sounds like Aaron Rodgers might have known something. And by the way, it is the agency that said, screw this. We don't want to be associated with Haason Reddick anymore. What the flying hoot. Unbelievable. Haason Reddick may be the dumbest player in NFL history. And I don't like to, say such things, but, of course, the Jets could use Haason Reddick, obviously. Haason Reddick, prior to all this hoopla, is a dynamic pass rusher in the NFL. But I've been telling people for a while that a lot of it didn't make sense. Haason Reddick, when he was first acquired by the Jets, was 29. He is now 30. And he's getting older. And that building, One Jets Drive, that building is going to keep standing. It's going to be standing when I'm dead. It's going to be standing when Haason Reddick's dead. The fact of the matter is, Haason Reddick every day is getting older. He's getting further and further away from his football abilities every day. Like in 10 years, Haason Reddick will not be a dynamic pass rusher. Who knows what that block of time is over the coming years? The Jets, if they get into a staring contest with Haason Reddick, and they are, the Jets win. Haason Reddick does not. He is one individual human person. And his decisions are tanking his NFL career. apparently his agent was trying to, well, it had gone too far, and his agent was trying to save it, according to Mike Garafolo. And now nada. Now, while Nick Faria's take is, oh boy, Reddick's career might be over, and that's a fair take to have, certainly. But you would think that with all this hoopla, Reddick currently does not have an agent right now. That maybe Woody Johnson, obviously, we heard his, plea to the gods. We heard his plea of like, hey, what? It almost seemingly came out of nowhere. It was a little weird, but it seemingly came out of nowhere where old Woody Johnson was making a plea to Haason Reddick. Now, just because the media doesn't get to talk to, Woody Johnson regularly, that's the reason why they asked the question. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I am just interested that Woody Johnson chose to say it in that way about this Haason Reddick situation. I'll see if I could pull up the clip quickly here because I'd like to hear that clip in its entirety because it was interesting. But I could just read you this. Here it is. Woody Johnson on Haason Reddick, who remains a holdout. This via Connor Hughes of SNY. Quote, Haason, this was during the conference call where they were mostly talking about Robert Saleh being fired and Jeff Ulbrich replacing him, but there was other topics of conversation. Quote, Haason, get in your car, drive down 95, and come to the New York Jets so we can meet you and give you an escort right into the building. You'll fit right in. Love it here. Feel welcome and accomplish great things with us, end quote. Other parts of that included, because Rich Cimini asked the initial question, and he's like, man, what's your take on all this Haason Reddick stuff? And Woody's like, man, Rich, you've been here longer than I have. I bought the team in 2000, basically. And Cimini's been covering the team since like 85, 86, somewhere in that range. And so Rich has him beat by like 15 years. He's like, have you ever seen anything like this? And they're all going back and forth on it. Haason Reddick has made a terrible mistake. And he had more money to make, $14.25 million this year, and that's just where I get lost. This is why I just don't understand the Haason Reddick side of things. I get it that he feels like he's been disrespected in his career, having to take all these one-year deals prior to that 3-year deal, $45 million that he's currently in the last year of with the Eagles. I understand that is Reddick's point of view, but this offseason, he was not a free agent. He was not an unrestricted free agent where he could create his own market. He was under contract. The Eagles did not cut him. They traded him. And then he was on the Jets, supposedly. Jokes aside. So he could not create his own market. I can say I'm worth blee, blah, blue, but if I'm under contract with someone and they say I'm not, then I'm not. That's the plain and simple truth. So people can say, well, Haason Reddick deserves more than $14.25 million. Then prove it. Prove it. And yes, PC Mud 87. I don't live around there, but I believe it is Drive Up 95. I heard that from Connor Rodgers and Joe Caparoso. I wouldn't know. I'm not from around there, but apparently it is Drive Up on the Woody Johnson quote. But that's neither here nor there. The point is that Haason Reddick has totally tanked this. I don't understand it. It's only getting worse. Like eventually, Haason Reddick, because here's the thing. So let me just reset. He wants to make the money and prove that he's one of the best pass rushers in the league, and everything's set up appropriately for him to do it with the Jets. If we're being unbiased and we're just stepping back, Haason Reddick in this scheme, before everything, before Jermaine Johnson got hurt, before Will McDonald came out, all of the stuff, Haason Reddick, unbiased, would have been able to get 10-plus sacks with the Jets, and he would have gotten a bag, whether it was from the Jets or some other team. That's the truth. Haason Reddick was in such a great position to capitalize and get one last big paycheck because he's 29 with the Jets. He turned 30 at the end of September. He has this awesome year, and he would have entered free agency as a 30-year-old, in theory, coming off an awesome season, a historic season, and because the NFL is always looking for premium pass rushers, he would have gotten a bag from somebody. Maybe the Jets say, wow, this guy's so good, we want to keep him. But now we're here in the middle of October. We haven't seen Haason Reddick since April. We have no idea the shape he's in. I know he's been walking around at random charity events and things, so I guess you could kind of shape him up. But we don't know the football shape he's in. We don't know whether or not if he came in today, would he be, able to get himself in the proper condition to, compete and help out a football team like the New York Jets. But boy, Reddick, it has gone so far. We just need Reddick. I'm just going to give my own version of a Woody Johnson play to you, man. Save your career. It's not even about the Jets. If you don't show up this year, we'll own your rights next year. So I mean, there's a truth for you. So why not try to make the best of a very crappy situation? You've made a lot of poor choices in this endeavor, but kind of like what Woody Johnson did when he fired Robert Saleh. He could have, should have, would have done this. People say, you probably should have fired him in the offseason. That's probably true. If the leash was this short, you probably should have fired him in the offseason. But you did not. We don't have a time machine, so you can't. So Woody Johnson was faced with two decisions. I made a mistake, but let's just ride it out through the season and I'll figure it out after the year. Or do I say, you know what? I know I should have done it earlier, but let's just rip the Band-Aid off and see if we can salvage this season. And obviously that's what Woody Johnson did. And we're only 5 games in. We're playing for first place in the AFC East on Monday night. And he's like, hey, man, we got a chance. If I flip the switch here and we get a spark, we can make a run. Now, Haason, there's no way to get that money back that you lost. It is what it is. You have held out for so long that even if the Jets made a positive alteration to your contract, it still wouldn't pay back all the fines, which, by the way, for those just joining us, we got 600 people in the room. Haason Reddick has lost $12.2 million so far through the first 5 weeks of the season, $8 million in fines and $4.2 million in base salary so far. He was only scheduled to make $14.25 million. So there's no way of getting all that money back, but you could still make money for the rest of the year, get a handful of sacks, enter free agency, and I'll be honest, you're probably only getting a 1-year deal now anyway. You're not going to get that big lofty deal you were hoping for. So your end game plan was not well thought out because you're not going to get the bag that you were seeking. You're once again get another 1-year deal, and you're another year older, and you've screwed up your entire process here. Absolutely, unequivocally. But now it is what it is. It's a sunken cost now. You just got to do what you got to do and show up to the facility and see what you can do, and then we'll rock from there. But oh my goodness, I cannot believe the twists and turns of this Haason Reddick, from him being acquired and us all losing our gosh darn bananas, and oh boy, this is terrific, man. Haason Reddick's going to be this needle mover for the Jets. And the only needle moving is what's happening off the field and all these random holdouts and other things situation. Unbelievable. And I see Alan dunking on the Jets there in the comment section. Reddick is the one that should be dunked on. The Jets, if they light a 3rd-round pick on fire, so be it. Think about some of the 3rd-round picks. Actually, let's do this, okay? Because everyone loves talking about this. Let's do this. Jets draft history. Let's see some of the so the Jets gave up in this deal a 2026 3rd-rounder that could become a 2nd-rounder if Haason Reddick appeared in 67.5% of the snaps at least and registered double-digit sacks. Both of those things are looking unlikely at this point, but who knows? So if the Jets lit a 3rd-round pick on fire, here are some of their 3rd-round picks. This year, Malachi Corley, he's barely saw the field. We didn't have a 3rd-round pick in 2023. Our 3rd-round pick in 2022 is Jeremy Ruckert, and he's been non-existent. We didn't have a 3rd-round pick in 2021. We have 2020 Ashton Davis. He's my boy, but let's be honest, it hasn't been great. The year before, Chuma Edoga. He stunk. Nathan Shepard the year before, he stunk. Ardarius Stewart the year before that in 2017, he sucked. Jordan Jenkins, he was halfway decent. I enjoyed Jordan Jenkins. He has 25 career sacks. Shout out to Jordan Jenkins. Lorenzo Malden. He had his run where he got excited, but he stunk. Dexter McDougal. Okay. Pass the biscuits. Brian Winters, actually, one of our better 3rd-round picks. Very nice. Yes. Demario Davis. Very nice. We probably should have never let him go. That's neither here nor there. Pretty good. Kenrick Ellis. No bueno. No 3rd-round pick. Now, all of a sudden, I'm back in 2009. So you get the point. Long story short, that as we're going through this list and walking down memory lane, the 3rd-round pick is nothing. You've lost the 3rd-round pick. That was a worthwhile gamble for the Jets. We're in a Super Bowl season. We light a 3rd-round pick on fire. Okay, if it doesn't work out, that's part of the risk. Maybe it works out. Maybe it does not. It didn't work out. Now, if people want to say, well, Paul, on top of the third round pick, we also lost John Franklin Myers because the finances committed to Haason Reddick and he was traded. Now, John Franklin Myers doesn't exactly have 10 sacks with the Broncos. He's been okay, but it's not like he's been killing it there. Bryce Huff certainly hasn't been killing it in Philadelphia. So the alternative options that the Jets realistically could have had haven't been killing it either. So you add all that up together. I think this is less dunking on the Jets. I think it's more dunking on Haason Reddick for being a unique, one-of-a-kind case in NFL history. And he can be crowned an idiot. So take that for what you will. Captain Condor says, we let Huff walk for pennies. I have to push back, Captain Condor. Bryce Huff received the largest undrafted free agent contract in NFL history for someone who is a non-quarterback. I would hardly say it's peanuts. He absolutely got a bag of money. And Mekhi Becton, I've got no issues that Mekhi Becton walked away. Goodbye. And JFM, fine. That's pennies in terms of the trade. We got like a switching of a late round pick in like 30 years. Okay. But Bryce Huff certainly did not for pennies. I would push back on that. Anywho, why don't we do this? We'll open up the phone lines. I'm sure you guys have a lot to say on this Haason Reddick situation. We'll play a quick HEP clip here, and then we'll be right back to answer your phone calls on this wild Haason Reddick situation. Good Lord have mercy.
Boy Green daily, boy Green daily, boy Green daily. Talking just football, man. Boy Green daily, boy Green daily, boy Green daily. The New York Jets Football Club. Wow. Offense, defense, special teams. Watch the Super Bowl season with Boy Green. J-E-T-S. Jets. Boy Green daily, boy Green daily, boy Green daily. You're talking Jets football, man. Boy Green daily, boy Green daily, boy Green daily. The New York Jets Football Club. Wow. Offense, defense, special teams. Watch the Super Bowl season with Boy Green. J-E-T-S. Jets.
That's me every time. I love it, Hep. Absolutely terrific, baby. And here we are, Boy Green Daily, and we'll answer your phone calls here in just a moment. And also, I need to flip the switch for our guy, NY Jets FL, baby. And again, all our thoughts are with the people down there in Florida. We have a ton of our listeners and viewers down there in Florida. They're going through it. I've seen the video footage. I've seen all kinds of things. Very, very scary stuff. So we are all thinking about you guys. That is well beyond any football Haason Reddick goofiness. Hopefully this gives you guys a good distraction. That's what I've said it before on this show. The reason why I've got into this business is that there's all kinds of serious stuff in our life with family, politics, and this and all this heavy stuff. I love goofing around. If you guys could get a chuckle from my weird bananas lost and up and down and left and right and Haason Reddick and all these weird vernacular I use, and if just for a moment, just for a minute, you could forget about all the life's problems so we could goof around here and talk some New York Jets and watch some Jets football on Monday nights and Sundays and Saturdays and Thursdays, then I've done my job as far as I'm concerned of making this happen. We are 201 members away, by the way, for NY Jets FL getting his membership. We'll see if we can make that happen here in the near future. Chip, baby. Chip. All right, let's get to the phone lines right here on the show. We got our boy Hep to kick us off. What's up, Hep?
Hey, Paul. Hey, fellas. How's it going?
Excellent.
All right, great. Now, as far as Reddick is concerned, the only thing that makes sense to me with the Reddick situation is if he's really lost a step and he doesn't want to show anybody, he wants to get that money. Like, look, surprise! Oh, I can't play. And then I heard I forgot who it was. Somebody was talking about it, saying that the last couple of years his sack numbers were fugazi. They were against bad teams, nobody above, no real good teams with a good. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't have those stats, but could you think that could be a possibility?
So the first thing you said, it's kind of interesting because he is, it's almost like we're getting catfished, which just seems kind
Yeah.
of weird because, like, there's this beautiful woman that's come on my screen. Wow, she's in my area. What are the chances? And then she's like, "Oh yeah, that's great." I'm like, "Hey, can we FaceTime? I'd love to see." Camera's broken. Oh well.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh okay. Hey, do you want to meet for dinner? Sure. Let's meet down the street. I go to the restaurant. No one's there. I'm like, "What happened?" "Oh no, an emergency happened. I couldn't show up." "Oh,
Yeah.
geez. Well, okay. But yeah, let's keep talking. Hey, by the way, Paul. Yeah, sure. What's up? Yeah, can you send me $1,000? I'm sorry. Excuse me. Yeah. I just need that for the plane trip to get to you. I thought you lived in town.
Oh
No,
yeah,
I
yeah,
live in
yeah.
Guatemala. Oh, of course, sure. Let me send you the $1,000. Is $1,000 ever coming? You know what I mean? So, or
Yeah.
where's it going? What's happening? So, I think there is something to what you say that maybe because like first off, I guess we have to start from the beginning. It's hard to rationalize any of this, so now we have to try to find a reason why in God's green earth has this not come to fruition yet. And yeah, it's crazy to think about, but I mean, just to secure your bag before you even show up, and that's like a prerequisite.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even going to do anything until I'm not going to show up till I get my bag of money. And then he shows up. You're like, whoa, who the hell
What
are you?
happened to
He's like,
you?
yeah, right. I've been eating donuts or something. This fat guy rolls up. You're like, who are you? I'm like, oh, I'm
Yeah,
Haason
yeah.
Reddick. Yeah,
Right.
that's an interesting point. On the other thing, I have heard people say that in the past of the Fugazi stats of beating up on bad teams and doing this, that, or the other. At the end of the day, when I look at it, it seems hard for that to happen 4 years in a row. And then, of course, the NFC Championship game where he makes a game-changing play on Brock Purdy where his UCL explodes. And
Yeah.
that thing made it so that maybe the Eagles would have won the game anyway, but that delivered them to the Super
Right.
Bowl. That
Right.
one play, because like Christian McCaffrey throwing passes and the body of Jets legend Josh Johnson in the game for a period of time in that NFC Championship game, like it was over, and the Eagles had it all gift wrapped, and that was Haason Reddick. So there can be some said to some of the stats maybe not being as dominant, but still 4 straight years of double-digit sacks. It's hard to, no matter what circumstance it was,
Well, yeah, just making that play in the playoffs was worth it.
Exactly.
If he makes the game-winning tackle in the Super Bowl, he's worth it. That's for us.
100%. Exactly.
But now the other thing is, since the numbers are coming, he's almost the same price as Devontae at this point. If we can get Devontae, why don't we just kick him to the curb, open up that space for that money, just give it to Devontae, and then go after Clowney.
100%. It makes a lot of sense now that we've gotten this deep that the Jets could just go, let's trade again. You're probably not just probably, you're not going to get the value that you got,
Yeah, we
which
lost
was
that third. Yeah.
which was a third, right? It's sunken
Yeah.
cost now. So like some people are going to cry about it and say, boy, but that third, you're not getting that third back. But could you get a fifth or something and flip him to someone else, make him someone else's problem? And to your point, make sure that if Haason Reddick shows up, the Jets would have to have his money ready. So just forget that possibility ever happening. Trade him some contender. Cowboys are hurting for pass rushers left and right. Send him over there. Maybe he'll figure it out with somebody else. And then to your point, we wash our hands of it and we go get some other hired mercenary. Clowney is a personal favorite of mine, so that'd be great.
Sure.
And get Adams, and let's go win some ball games. If you really want to give Jeff Ulbrich the best possible chance, which I think he does have a great chance as it stands, but give him a better chance, let's swing. Let's unload the clip and do everything we can. I'm all for it.
I think Clowney would be a good fit because he's really good against the run as well. And so I mean, if we get those Clowney and Devontae in here, I think that's a nice little boost.
100%. And let's get a boost as we make as we all watch Boy Green Daily for a Super Bowl season, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
All right, guys. Peace out.
Love it, Hep. And some good conversation there. Very, very interesting. Yeah. Again, if Haason Reddick hasn't shown up yet, when is he showing up? I think that's a question we all have. Is he ever showing up? Is his football career over? Which is the theme of this video that we're talking about. That Nick Farias says, I don't know if he plays another snap of football, which is crazy to think about. Absolutely crazy to think about. To the 800 people in the room, make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. Let's spread the good gospel of Boy Green Daily. This is a live show every single day at 7:30. And here's a surprise, baby. We're back I will be joining Jake Asman today at 4 o'clock talking all things New York Jets. It's been a few weeks. We've had all kinds of things with the London game and this, that, or the other, all these other things that have pulled each other away, or he'd been out in Vegas and the time differences and this, that, or the other. Jake Asman, I will be back on the Jake Asman Show, which will also be streaming on this channel coming up at 4 o'clock. I'm looking forward to being back with that. It should be a doozy. So looking forward to that. We'll be back on in a couple of hours. But let's go to the phone lines here on the channel. Actually, before we do, our number one Austrian Jets fan, baby, getting involved with a YouTube membership. Yeah, baby. Or it was just one, but we appreciate the one there. Thank you, our number one Austrian Jet fan, for gifting a membership that is to Jersey Jet. You have been gifted a membership. You get a 1-month free trial of the Boy Green Daily experience. If you like it, you'll get an email that says, hey, do you want to continue this thing? It's only $2.99 a month, and you can choose to do so. That would be wonderful. We're now 200 members away from NY Jets FL getting his emoji, which will be quite a doozy. Thank you to our number one Austrian Jet fan. On top of that, you get a loyalty badge by your name. You help support the show, and you can join our Discord, which Jared B., our moderator, just dropped into the comment section. You guys can join that and keep the conversations going. We talk about all kinds of things beyond our 7:30 New York Jets Boy Green Daily conversations. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Easy, you're here on the show. What's up, Easy?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Yeah, hey, not too shabby.
Oh, thank God you can hear me.
Yeah.
Guess where I'm at? I'm at the dump.
I was just about to say, when I was going to guess, I was like, Haason Reddick's house? Which I guess could be.
Oh, that's not. Listen, I want to say something for Haason, okay? I don't want to say Haason is a stupid man. I don't want to say he's an idiot, because that's a personal attack. What I will say is he's making a stupid decision, and he's making an idiotic decision.
Oh, that's
I don't want to make it a personal attack. It's like you can say you're acting like an asshole, or you can say you're an asshole. There's a big difference.
I didn't know initially, but that's good. I like.
But we should respect these guys. They work their whole lives to make it to the NFL, and it's just not fair to just call them names, like that. That being said, what a schmuck.
100%.
And any of you non-Jewish people out there, a schmuck is a used foreskin after circumcision. That's what a schmuck is.
Wow, that's specific.
Now, the putz is the penis itself. So if someone calls you a putz, that's the penis. The schmuck is the discarded foreskin. Woohoo!
I appreciate the clarity on that. I was curious.
I figured you'd appreciate the humor in that.
Yeah, thank you. Yes.
Anyway, I friended Haason Reddick, and he accepted my friendship. And I sent him a message. I said, dude, vacation's over. Time to go to work. I said, you make more in one game check than I make in 8 years. Go to work. I want to see my team win. That's what I sent him.
What did he say?
He hasn't responded. Why would he?
I guess. Yeah, I guess.
But I figured I wanted to say something that meant a little something to put things into perspective, but I didn't want to go overboard because, sometimes people have other decisions. You don't know. Maybe he is lost a step, and there's a lot of guys at the combines don't want to do that 40-yard dash.
Yeah,
because maybe they.
But if he showed up, he would have. Yeah, okay, let's say he's washed. But if he showed up, he'd get $14.25 million. Why wouldn't he want that?
Well, that's why he's made a stupid decision. Listen, I'm going to still talk. I just have to get out of the truck. Hold on a minute.
All right.
So even though you can't see me, you can still hear me. I have to open up the back door to the truck and let the stuff out. So this is a work in progress.
Oh, wow. This is a first. Oh, okay. All right.
Yep.
I like that.
At the Shotwell dump in North Carolina.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, I appreciate the view.
Well, you're not viewing it because I left the phone with the camera in the truck.
Oh no,
Why
that's
is
all
this
right.
door not cooperating? Sometimes you get these rusted out doors, they stick on the bottom and you can't open them too good, but it is what it is. I mean, hey, they give me 25 an hour to move garbage around. Who am I to complain?
Fair, fair enough. So,
If I was
what else?
Haason Reddick, I'd be making a lot more money for doing this.
That's probably true. So, what else is on your mind, Easy?
That was pretty much it. I mean, what else is there to do? I think Ulbrich's going to do. All right, Ulbrich, I think, is going to do a much better job at keeping the guys honest. I'm not saying this be anything against Salah, but Ulbrich played in this league. There's a big difference when a coach tells you and a player tells you. So when a player tells you, "Hey, you're screwing up. You got to do better," sometimes a lot of people take that to heart. But
That's true. That's true. Easy. Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it. Wow. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. So we were supposed to have a Buffalo Bills guest on the show today. I asked him if he can move to the weekend, not because of the Haason Reddick thing. Easy was very much out of breath, Alan. Yeah, he seemed like he was moving and grooving there. But no, the reason why I left this window open for this morning show is because I'm like, whoa, the big news is, of course, Jeff Ulbrich's the interim head coach. We already knew that, but they made a change in play caller that goodbye, Nathaniel Hackett, hello, Todd Downing, and Hackett staying in the building. And I think it's an important point of clarity real quick before we go back to the phone lines. A lot of people have said, why do they keep saying that? Jeff Ulbrich says, it's nice that he stayed in the building. Aaron Rodgers said, it's cool that he stayed in the building. And people are like, was he trying to leave? People, think about the human side for a second. You're in a big position at your job, whatever you do for work. Let's call you a manager, okay? And your boss sits you down and say, hey, man, I'm going to be honest. We're going to demote you. We're going to demote you to cashier. We'll use a grocery store. It doesn't matter what we use. A manager's here. Cashier's here. Manager is doing all these kinds of things. You're just going to be a cashier now. Now, the guy could be like, man, and they're going to bring in a new manager, a guy that will do your old job. Now, you can stick around if you want to, and you're sticking around if you want to is you're going to be awkwardly in the same place of business as someone who replaced you, and you're doing a much lesser job. So when people say oh, geez, what were people talking about over and over again about Nathaniel Hackett? It's awkward. Someone else replaced you. They didn't think you were good enough, and now they're replacing you. Now, Jeff Ulbrich has said all the right things, saying man, we just want a different perspective, a fresh perspective. He's not saying it's right or wrong. Let's just see what happens. And so Jeff Ulbrich is handling the press conferences quite well, which is refreshing after what we saw Robert Saleh the last couple of years. But that's it. When people are wondering about the Nathaniel Hackett piece, he's sticking around because he's best friends with Aaron Rodgers. That part of the equation makes a ton of sense to continue to be around Aaron Rodgers. He has a friendly relationship with Todd Downing, obviously. That he wants to continue to do. So that, to me, I just wanted to make sure we covered. And Todd Downing, is he getting people have asked, Paul, how much better is the offense going to be with Todd Downing? And I respond, no friggin' clue. But it can't be worse. Hackett was the worst. So Todd Downing, by default, has to be better than him. There will be tendencies. There will be different plays. There will be a different energy. There will be a different vibe. I'm curious to see what that looks like. What will it look like? No idea. We're all going to find out on Monday Night Football. But boy, in his Tennessee days, he sure liked to run the football. I think that is stock up for Braylon Allen and hopefully stock up for Breece Hall. And it's about utilization, getting Breece Hall in some screen games. That's what I'd love to see. You don't have to come up with the Fumble-Rooski from the Little Giants, Fumbalaya. You don't have to put the ball on the ground and do a Guatemalan twist turn. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. Let's just do some basic stuff like screens. Run maybe some crossers to just open people up and just say, oh, there's an open guy. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Nickel and dime it down the field. I don't care. And then maybe take a deep shot every once in a while. If people are stacking the box trying to stop the run, Aaron, cock one back and throw it deep, baby, and let's loosen up the defense. I'd like to see it. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. We got Bubba Badshaw here on the show. What's up, Badshaw?
How you doing this morning?
Hey, it's good to see you, pal.
Good to see you. So first, I don't know much about this Downing, right? It's Todd Downing. That's
That's
taking
correct.
over the
Yeah,
play calling?
yeah, he's been an offensive coordinator twice before in his career. It was 2017 with the then Oakland Raiders. Obviously, they're Vegas now, and he was an offensive coordinator for 2 seasons with the Tennessee Titans, 2020 and 2021. So he has prior play calling experience, and obviously, he was already on the team. He was hired as a passing game coordinator last year, and this offseason, he is still the passing game coordinator, but also added quarterbacks coach to his role, and obviously now he will be the play caller. So he has some experience.
Well, so a lot of people say the run opens up the pass game.
Sure. Yeah.
I kind of felt like when we in the second half Sunday, I felt like our passing game. I don't know. I felt like we had a few decent runs in the second half where Aaron Rodgers was passing like 80% of the time, 90% of the, and I actually like that. No, is he 2010 Aaron Rodgers? Somebody was saying that the other day. Is he 2010 Aaron Rodgers? No, but God bless, can he at least play like 2008 Brett Favre? I think he can do that. How Brett Favre played for us. He was slinging it all over the place. I don't know. It's just like the play calling has just been terrible. And I'm like, and our running game, everybody knows we're running it. And I think that's why I don't think Brees and I don't think Braylon Allen have dropped off since training camp or however far you want to date back to. But it's like, I just think everybody knows we're going to run. That's just our thing. But another question I wanted to ask you was, this off season, didn't a team try to lure Ulbrich over to them? I thought there was another NFL team that tried to get him to come over to them, but I can't remember who it was. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah, that is correct. I'm trying, just so you know, I'm trying not to interrupt you because I don't know if it's phones when people call in, then you get cut off. So I'm just trying to let you finish. I'm not ignoring you. So the question about the DC is true. That was the San Francisco 49ers. They called the Jets and they said, basically, can we, and here's the rules, because, I don't want to assume people know these rules. When it's a lateral move, which means like Jeff Ulbrich's a defensive coordinator and the 49ers are seeking a defensive coordinator and they want to take him, NFL teams can block that. They can say, up yours, pal. No, we're not just going to lose Jeff Ulbrich for no reason. Now, if the 49ers didn't have a head coach and they came to interview Jeff Ulbrich, the Jets can't block Jeff Ulbrich from a promotional job of going from this to this. They can block lateral stuff. So if every team in the NFL said, actually, we want Jeff Ulbrich as our defense coordinator, not the Jets. Jeff Ulbrich can want to do it, but he will need permission from the Jets to make the lateral jump. And normally that happens very rarely. A good example, sort of, is Mike LaFleur. He left the Jets as an offensive coordinator and became an offensive coordinator somewhere else. And basically, the Jets let him out of his contract so he could go be an OC somewhere else. And Saleh was doing him solid. Saleh wanted to keep him. And it was all this other hoopla. So they let him go for a lateral move. And that's how that happened. So, yes, it was the 49ers. They wanted him. And if it does not work out full-time here with the Jets, I imagine Jeff Ulbrich and Saleh will be very high on the list to both return to San Francisco.
Oh, yeah. It makes me wonder, which I guess he probably wouldn't have done this, but it just makes me wonder, did Woody say something to him this year, that being Ulbrich, that, hey, if this season starts out sloppy, like, you could be the guy? I don't know. I don't know if he would have said that or not, but it was something I was thinking about the other day.
Here's a good example of that, actually. So Gerard Mayo was obviously on the Patriots staff, and now he's their head coach. But before he was head coach, he was an assistant. And teams requested head coaching interviews with him. I remember one in particular. The Carolina Panthers wanted to talk to Gerard Mayo for a head coaching interview. And he was going to go on it, then he didn't. And basically what we heard is Robert Kraft pulled Gerard Mayo into a room and said, hey, man, I don't want you going anywhere. How about this? I'm going to give you a raise right now. And between me, you, and the four walls, if and when Bill Belichick kicks the bucket here and leaves, you're the guy. And he went, well, can we get that in writing? Bing, boom, bam. That's what happened. He was the quote-unquote coach in waiting. It was written into the contract. He got a raise, and it was sneaky. Not a lot of people knew until we got closer to the end of Belichick That's how it worked out. So I imagine those conversations happen again, more so where a guy can actually get poached and leave, where it's Gerard Mayo was some assistant with the Patriots, and he could have left as a head coach. And as a way to lure him and keep him there, you make him that promise of like, hey, one day you can be the head coach or whatever. I don't think that was necessary for this particular instance because, again, the Jets could block it because it was lateral. But, yeah, maybe. It's hard to see because, like, I don't know if Woody would have been that transparent with Ulbrich to say, hey, man, if this thing was solid doesn't work out, you're the guy. That would almost hint to the fact that he might lean towards it not working out and opening that Pandora's box door. But no, it's an interesting thought, though.
Well, and see, I didn't know that, so I learned something new today. So
yeah, see, there you go.
There you go. I'm already learning stuff at 7:15 here. So, and anyway, and one more thing, and you don't have to keep me on to answer this, but you know, I was kind of baffled by the Salah thing. You know, I called in Monday night and we were talking about it. I'm staying positive. I think hopefully it's, you know, I think it's probably going to be the best move for the players and just the attitude of the organization. But God bless. I'd like to have them follow it up with a Devontae Adams signing and also, you know, either getting Haason Reddick deal done. I mean, I don't see Rodgers playing another season after this. I think this is his last season, regardless if we lose in the AFC Championship game. I'm like, I see this being his last season. So I just feel like, do you think this is his last season no matter what? And do you think we should just start making all these moves? Heck, I agree. Even Jadeveon Clowney would be a nice addition. If we're all in, if this is the best roster we've ever had.
Okay, I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Batshot. Thanks for the call, brother. Yeah, I'll answer your several questions there. Is this the last season for Aaron Rodgers? I don't want to read too much into it, but he's made a few comments here or there where you kind of go, did he just... Because people ask him, like, oh, is this your final London trip ever? Is this your final this kind of game ever? Is this your final this game ever? And he hasn't, like, said, no, I'm playing 1,000 years. He's kind of said, like, it could be. You don't know. So they're little nuggets. Maybe they'll mean nothing. Maybe in a bunch of months we'll rewind and say, wow, so those did mean something. I don't know. But for me, this is why I've said it throughout this entire season. 2024 is all that matters to me. I don't give a flying hoot about 25, 26. I don't care about any of those years. While it's been nice to hear Aaron Rodgers say that, like, this is a multi-year thing, I'm all in. To me, I can't take those things for granted, man. Anything can happen. Any injury can happen. Something in Rodgers' life could change. As far as I'm concerned, this is the only year we have Rodgers, and we got to win. And we got to take advantage of it because there's no guarantee this man's coming back. He's 40. He's going to be 41 in a couple of months. And then that means the following season, he would turn 42 in the middle of the season. None of that is guaranteed. We are in gravy train time for Aaron Rodgers or any player of this nature. So I hope he's back, to be honest with you. Of course, who wouldn't want him back? But we don't know. So take that for what you will, Batch. I hopefully I answered your question there. And then on the all-in status, hell yeah, because of my mentality, and this is the only season that matters, let's go get Devontae Adams. That sounds like if it's going to happen, we'll be in the Monday, Tuesday range. Probably not Monday because the Jets are worrying about a game, but Joe Douglas also isn't game planning, so I don't know. It could happen Monday, Tuesday night. We'll see something of that nature perhaps comes together. And then the Clowney thing or Reddick thing, whoever. If the Jets could work it out with Reddick, obviously, in theory, that'd be the most ideal. You already have him. You don't have to give up another asset. Let's get his ass in the building. Let's figure it out. Because, again, if his football career is not over, then he has to play for the Jets at some point, unless they trade him. So show up. Let's figure it out. Let's work it out. If that's not going to work out, like that is a lost cause. Like he's like, screw it. I'm never playing football again. You're like, well, okay. You either try to trade him or bring somebody else in that can, because the Jets defensive line needs a little more chutzpah. They will get it. Like Ifutu, I think is going to be nice. He's not Haason Reddick. He's not going to be, in my opinion, registering 10, 12 sack seasons. I don't see that as a possibility. I love to look through green colored glasses as much as I can, but that's what I think it is. Captain Condor, by the way, gives his trade prediction for Devontae Adams. Thinks a third rounder in Corley. That's kind of where I'm leaning. I think it's somewhere in that ballpark. I think it's a 3 or 4 in Malachi Corley. That's my guess. Again, that would be disappointing because we had all these high hopes for Malachi Corley, but yeah, that would be my gut at this point. FL Phil 98, and then we'll get back to the phone lines. Now that Reddick has no representation, can Woody or Joe Douglas just call him? Absolutely. And by the way, even if he had an agent, you could just call him. He's under contract. It's not like he's under contract with the Cowboys or something, FL Phil 98. So absolutely, Woody right now, if he wanted to, could drive to his house and say, hey, Haason, let's figure this out. Or Joe Douglas, you could call him. So absolutely, there are no rules. Once a player's under contract with you, you could call him. You could say, you could get who up at 2 a.m. Sure. Yeah. You up? Feel free to do that. Sure. Yeah. You can text him whatever the heck you want as far as I'm concerned. So no rules in that department. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. We got Johnny Boy here on the show. What's up, Johnny?
Boy Green, what's going on, man? Man, them old text messages of you up back in the day. But that's for another story.
Perhaps.
Look, the Haason Reddick stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, he's going through a lot of stuff right now, man. He's being sued right now. I don't know if a lot of people have been kind of like really, keeping track
No,
of
I didn't
stuff
see
like
that. What's going on there? Yeah.
Yeah, he's right now in the lawsuit with a partner that he had in regards of like a senior citizen home business that he had.
Oh,
and he
I
owes
haven't heard
that
that at
guy
all.
like 1.5 mil or
Oh,
something
my
to that.
God.
So it just keeps adding up. You know what I'm saying with this guy.
Yikes.
So I don't think Haason Reddick is washed up. I would welcome him with open arms over here. I mean, the stuff that he's done, he doesn't need to prove a lot more. He hasn't done anything with us, so I could see the reasoning behind, hey, come here, let's talk and all that. But at the same time, I put a lot of this on JD. Like, you can't just have it like, hey, man, by the way, if you show up, right, let's shake on it real quick, and then, hey, we're good to go. Hell no. Need to put that on paper. Like, anyways,
Yeah.
I'm hoping that the Jets could keep putting all these distractions behind, man. Like, they just need to keep moving forward, and because they already have a lot of crap going on. New head coach. You got Downey now gonna go ahead and be the play calling guy and whatnot. So
Yep.
I just hope there's a spark on Monday night. I did hear the stuff that you had with Woody on and that other guy that was there, which was awesome, by the way. If anybody hasn't watched that, you need to watch it. It was good. But
yeah, that's our Buffalo Bills sideline reporter, Sal Capaccio, a good friend of mine. So, yeah, guys, check it out for the Jets-Bills preview. We'll also have a Bills Insider on tomorrow morning to talk about Buffalo Bills. But, yeah, Sal is on the sideline for every Buffalo Bills game. So he has amazing insight. Absolutely. Thanks for the shout-out there.
But the classic jerseys, I saw that you said you do not like them. And
like, they're fine, but, like,
I'm going to have
mean,
to agree with you, bro. I'm on the same boat. I'm on the same boat. Man. The helmets look cool, but other than that, I don't.
There's a reason we moved on. That's my thing. Like, we all moved on because, like, and again, I still have the gear, right? Like, I'm wearing, and this is a different era because we've had a million eras, obviously. Like, yeah, see, you know what I mean? Like, you have that one. I have this. Like, we have all of it. Like, it is what it is. I'm going to keep wearing the gear. I'm not burning my gear. I'm going to wear it. And if I get a sly comment every once in a while, I'm like, oh, that's weird on the uniforms and stuff. But, like, come on, man. There's a reason we moved on. I want to, if we're going to do throwbacks, and this is the hot take that everyone hates, I love the New York Titans jerseys. I love when we do that. I'm like, oh yeah, baby, look at that. That's different. That's new. I love that. It's an ode to our origin story of 1960 to 1962 when we were the New York Titans. Like, that to me is cool. I love when we pivot in that direction. I know everyone hates that take, but yeah, again, we'll all be watching Monday Night Football, but I'll be like probably like, ugh, when I'm watching.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, now, them Titan jerseys were horrible, bro.
Come on, man. Come on, Johnny.
Nah, dude, are we the Michigan Wolverines or what, man? Like,
hey,
you know what I'm saying?
That's our origin story. That's what we were,
Couldn't do it, bro. But anyways, yeah, look, one of the biggest things for myself that I'm hoping that we see Monday night, right? I'm hoping Ulbrich, right? Like, he puts his foot down on everything. Like Clemens, right? Clemens doing what he did last time where he almost got a penalty, and then you see Salah tapping him on the back like, haha, we got away with one. Good job, buddy.
That's 100% what was the conversation. That was 1,000% what they talked about.
I hope he nips that crap right in the bud and be like, "You idiot, sit your ass all the way on the damn end and all that, and don't talk to nobody. Like, don't do that
100%.
again. You're
Yeah.
costing us stuff." You got the whole stuff with Braylon Allen and Brees Hall, right? Whoever has the hot hand, you keep rocking with them, and
Yeah.
don't make it
Screw
so. Don't make
emotions.
don't
Exactly.
don't make it difficult. And then the other stuff, it's the Mosley situation, man. Like, are you going to continue with Sherwood and how well they're excelling within the linebacking core? Or are you going to go back to Mosley? Because Mosley is a solid guy. He made it pretty clear in regards to what who his side was with. He said, um, you know, the whole Quincy thing, and then he said about the whole Salah, like, he gave me my second chance and he didn't have to do this. He did blah, 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 and stuff like that. So now, do I love Mosley? I do. I like Mosley a lot and everything like that. But the defense was rocking a lot more quicker and faster and looked a lot better in regards to that. So it'll be intriguing to see it. Those are the things that I want to see with Ulbrich, to be like, this is my team. I'm the head coach. If the ship is going to sink, it's going to go my way. So my way or the highway, as they say. BG, appreciate you as always, man. And go Jets.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I think we are going to see imprints of Jeff Ulbrich on this team. There's no doubt about it. There's going to be a different energy, no question, but there's going to be a lot of eyes on him. Of course, Monday Night Football is his first game as the interim head coach. Go figure. And we're going to be watching all of those interactions with players. How is he different from Salah? How is he the same, whether it's fair or unfair? By the way, shout out to Terrence Hill, baby, who gifted a Boy Green Coffee Club membership this morning. We appreciate you. You can play those chimes. Oh, yeah, baby. We have now cracked the 100 club. We're 199 members away for NY Jets FL getting his emoji. And by the way, Milk D101 Lib, you are now a member of the Boy Green Coffee Club. Thanks for supporting the show. And shout out to Terrence Hill for being so generous as well with the gifting of memberships. Beautiful. You love to see it, baby. Keep the love coming. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. We got our guy, Indy Jets, back on the show. What's up, Indy?
Boy Green, how are you, bud?
Well, bizarre. I don't know what the emotion we're supposed to be having with this Reddick stuff anymore.
Well, I'm going to squash this. All these people that say, this falls on Joe Douglas. They should have had it in paper. Apparently they don't know how a trade and contracts work. Now, I have read through the CBA numerous times, and I'm going to tell you that the only thing that Joe Douglas could do when in talks is come up with a verbal agreement. He can't make Reddick sign any contract before the trade. There's nothing he can do. So they come up with a verbal agreement. The verbal agreement was, and Joe Douglas has been very upfront with it, you show up to camp and we'll talk. His story has not changed.
And the agent, by the way, to your point, the agent confirmed that from Tory Dandy and from sources said he will show up. Right.
Yes, we have no reason to believe that Joe Douglas lied or did anything, other than what he's told us. Now, the only way that trade goes through is if Reddick says, okay, I agree to this. Joe Douglas calls the Eagles, says, let's make this trade. We've made a verbal agreement. We can't make it. We can't put it on paper. It doesn't matter if he has a $30 million a year contract for 5 years sitting there. He still can't sign it.
Yeah.
He can't do anything until after the trade. So now all they have is a verbal agreement, which now the agent and Joe Douglas have both agreed that's what was said. Even the agent now has pulled away and said, Reddick I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
So to place any blame on Joe Douglas, to say Joe Douglas tried and Reddick pulled out of the verbal agreement, we went through the deal, and now Reddick has turned away from the verbal, even though he's still under contract. This is not like the Le'Veon Bell situation with the Steelers. This is not even anywhere close to that.
Right. Very different.
Joe Douglas did everything that he could, that as any other GM would, and it's now proving that Reddick is the one that's just out of his mind, to the point where the agent has now backed away to go, I can't even help this guy. So for everybody that says, this is all Joe Douglas, no, Joe Douglas did exactly as any GM should, and they made a verbal agreement. Once the agreement was made the trade with the Eagles. He can't make Reddick hold up his end of a verbal agreement.
Right.
And so, and now it's becoming, and I said this on Jake Asman like week 2 after reading through the CBA and everything. Reddick can't. He will make. I think it's week 7 this year. He can play the rest of the year, and he will rack up so many fines, and that he will actually play for $0. He can play the rest of the year from week 7. It's either week 7 or week 8. I did the math on it. Yeah. He will play for $0. He will not make $1. And I told Jake, I said, I'm guessing that he probably won't play for the Jets, and he may not play in the NFL again. This was week 2.
Wow.
And look where we're at.
Indy Stradamus.
And because the contracts are so, the CBA holds everybody accountable.
Yeah.
Including the players.
100%.
And so he's just, I think Reddick's done. The proof is that even the agent. How many times do you ever hear an agent literally walk away from a player? That's
very
free money
rare.
to him.
And a high-profile player at that. Like, this isn't some scrub. Like, Haason Reddick had 4 straight double-digit sack seasons. This is a guy that made a game-changing play in the NFC Championship game that got the Eagles to the Super Bowl. You're right. An agent walk away from a player is incredibly rare like this.
Yeah, and that's free money to him. They could have just held on to him, and if he signed a contract next year, so be it. They're going to make their money. They don't want any part of this guy's head case.
Correct. They don't want to be connected to it anymore.
And so when the agent of the player and the general manager both are saying the same thing, this is not a general manager issue. This is a player in his own head issue. Yeah. And so I just wanted to, everybody keep bashing on Joe Douglas for making some moves that maybe are questionable. Well, you know what? Every GM does. Mm-hmm. Maybe he didn't get it right with Coach Saleh. Coach Saleh was a rookie head coach, made a great defense. Look at the team he took over. Look how bad that team was when Saleh took over.
2019. Yeah.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
And look how the team was even worse when Joe Douglas took over from McCagnon.
Correct.
McCagnon had one winning season of his first year, and then never won more than 5 games.
Yep.
And we were in cap hell. We had no talent on the team. You don't rebuild that in 1 year. You just don't. Mm-hmm. And so I think Joe Douglas has done well. We've been bit by an injury bug that. Well, that's just Jets things that happen.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, but again, I think Saleh has, and maybe Saleh was just burnt out. He's a rookie coach that. I believe he still has a better record than what Belichick had in Cleveland.
I think you're right.
And everybody considers Belichick one of the greatest coaches to coach in the NFL.
Sure.
But so Belichick wasn't the greatest at the beginning either. So was it time for Saleh to go? Yeah, I believe it, and it was the right time. And I'm proud of Woody Johnson for doing it when he did.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I didn't think he would do it at that time.
Right, and I think Ulbrich was the right guy, and we'll see. The most Jet thing that could happen is the first time, where an interim head coach goes and wins the damn Super Bowl.
Wouldn't that be funny?
That'd be the most Jet thing ever.
I'm all for it, baby. Let's make some history. Let's go.
Yeah.
And again, I think that this interim coach, and look through the cases in NFL history, Jeff Ulbrich has the best chance of any interim head coach that's ever existed. He's got the runway of games. He's got a Hall of Fame quarterback. He's got an awesome defense. And he has talented players on the offensive side of the ball that aren't being maximized. And if he can maximize them, all of a sudden Jeff Ulbrich has a chance to have the greatest run that an interim head coach has ever had. And I don't think that's hyperbole.
No, and another thing that on top of that list is he's got the players now going, okay, they realize they screwed up and let Salah go. And when you're on a really bad team with no talent, yeah, they can make a run and make it look decent, like the Raiders did last year. They made it look good, But now you have a talented team with an attitude.
Yeah, which I like, and I think they have proper juice, Indy. So I love the call, and I would only say this, only to add this, that if Haason Reddick didn't want this trade to go through, his only option was this. Haason Reddick had to perform a physical to complete the trade. He showed up to One Jets Drive on April 1st. He showed up. He completed the physical. Bing, boom, bam. Met with the local media. Met with the in-house media. That is the media that works for the New York Jets. Check, check, check. The trade was completed. If he says, I'm not going to the Jets, up yours. I'm not doing the physical. You guys can trade for me all you want. The trade would have been reverted, and then the trade couldn't have gone through. That was the only time that Reddick had the power in his hands to say, screw you, Jets. I'm not taking the physical, and thus the trade is not complete, and screw you guys. He did not. He completed the trade by going through the physical and going through that process. That was his. Was it all, as Lucas says on Facebook, it was April 1st. Was that some big Reddick April Fool's joke? Perhaps. Perhaps. But that's the truth. And we will see what happens. What a wild turn of events. Shout out to the 1,000 people that are in the room. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe, spread the good gospel of Boy Green Daily. Again, we'll be back on. I'm about to head to the radio station. And then after that, I will be back on at 4 o'clock with Jake Asman talking all things New York Jets with you crazies. Again, it'll be live streaming both on Jake's channel and this channel. The freeway, all of you can contribute. If this is giving you a laugh, even if you hate me and you just do hate watching, we all kind of do that in our lives, whether it's a TV show or a person. I have no shame in hate watching. If you hate Boy Green, you just enjoy, you hate watching, like, look at this idiot. What's this idiot going to say next? That works for me too. I don't discriminate. So like the video, hit subscribe. That's a free way to support the show, and that means a lot. But if you want to go the extra step and say, you know what, I want to support the show in another way, you can join the Boy Green Coffee Club. That is in the YouTube description down below. Join the Boy Green Coffee Club here. It's in the YouTube description of every video on this channel, and that's how you can become a YouTube member. It's only $2.99 a month. It helps keep the lights on. It allows me to invest more into the show. If you guys enjoy it, that's your way to give back to me for me giving back to you. So we appreciate it. As Terrence Hill says in the comments, let's get this win on Monday. Let's go get first place in the AFC East. Everything is there for me. And there it is. So let's friggin' go. Jets. Jets, Jets, Jets. Let's go. This Haason Reddick thing is crazy, but guess what? We're getting back. We have a Jets Bills preview with a special insider on Boy Green Daily tomorrow morning, and Hop on Pop will be on Sunday. Let's go.